Hello everybody, Willow here, again with another witchy and educational video. So this is a follow-on from our Witchy 101 show. I am putting uploads to do with different types of witches, giving you a little bit more information and guidance into what of these witches are. So obviously today's witch is going to be the Headge witch that we're going to be talking about. She's been mentioned in a few of the witches I've already spoke to you about, but she's most definitely one of the popular witches and one that I definitely want to share with you today. Lots of love, light and blessings to all of you. I hope that you're all well. It's really lovely to have you here. So I hope that you do find this video informative and interesting, and that it's going to help you to understand your paths a little bit more and to who you may be. So I have got some very delightful little pictures that I found that I'm going to put up onto the screen while my camera is off, because I'm obviously going to be reading to you the information that I have and have been looking for to help you to understand and get more of an understanding of what a Headge witch is. So let's start with the show, guys, and thank you for being here, and blessed be to all of you. Love this photo, really does show the part of the Headge witch. For anybody that wonders what a Headge witch is, she normally takes the traits of the green witch and the kitchen witch. She loves the outside, she loves gardens, she loves plants, she loves working with herbs. She has the kitchen and the home side of things where she looks after her home. She brings her magic into her home, so her home becomes her place of practice and want. So she will use a lot of different forms to bring that within the home and into her spiritual practices. She's a very interesting witch, very much known for her healing, for being very connected to nature, and she most definitely is very solitary. She likes her own way of working, or he likes his own way of working. They have their traits and their ways that they're used to and what they're comfortable with. Headge witches are also really well known for, like I said, the healing and everything, but they're also really good at bringing in to doing things with herbs and making things that are useful, whether that's through spell work itself and casting from an altar, or if that is them doing something in things such as food, or if they're washing up and all this sort of stuff. So I hope that you do find this information interesting, and let's get on with talking to you about the Headge witch. Remember, if any of this does ring right to you, or you think you've got similarities, remember, you do not have to give yourself the name that you're a witch. You could be a spiritual practitioner, and you just take elements of each craft that you find interesting. A lot of people that don't like to show themselves as a witch will still have some form of studying by watching other witches and taking certain traits from certain ways that witches form in magic. So always remember that that information, that knowledge has to come from somewhere, as well as what they pick up on around them as well. So just letting you know that, guys, that to do magic doesn't mean you have to be a witch or a wizard or a spiritual being. You could just be somebody that very much believes in your own energy and the energy that you're putting into what you're doing, and that's fine. So what is a Headge witch, and what do they practice, and what's the beliefs? Paganism, paganism and Wiccan. There are a lot of different belief systems in modern paganism and Wicca, and one that's seeing popularity in the path of the Headge witch. Although there are a lot of different definitions of what a Headge witch is and does, you'll find that for most part there's a lot of work with herbal magic, as well as the emphasis of nature. A Headge witch mind works with gods and goddesses, perform healing and shamanic actions, or perhaps work with the changing seasons. In other words, the path of the Headge witch is an eclectic as those who practice it. They very much are very solitary workers. They're very much about bringing lots of apparitions of magic in. They don't just use one form, they bring many forms and use that throughout the day. They obviously balance that through magical practice and practical living. So they're a very interesting source. And I'm sure a lot of us have got a little tray of the Head Witch, in my opinion. So here's some like key takeaways on knowing about like the Hedge Witch and the Hedge Witch craft. Hedge Witch craft is usually practiced by solitaries and involves deep study of plants and the natural world. The term Hedge Witch is an homage to the wise woman of old who often lived on the outskirts of villages beyond the hedge. Head witches typically find magical intent in routine day-to-day activities, life. In other words, they bring their magic out in the things that really need it. So in their personal lives, maybe in lives of people they care about, in a community, they will very much be doing a lot of their work as well for like nature and for Earth, Mother Nature are very much their aspect of looking after as well. So you will see that they would do a lot of rituals and ceremonies for healing and helping the mothers as well. So here's a little bit of history about the Hedge Witch. Ask any modern Hedge Witch, and they'll probably tell you that the reason they call themselves a Hedge Witch is a homage to the past. In days gone by, witches, often women, but not always, lived along the fringes of a village behind the hedgerows. One side of the hedge was the village and the civilization, but the other lay the unknown and the wild. Typically, these hedge witches served a dual purpose and acted as healers or cunning women. And that involved a lot of time gathering herbs and plants in the woods, fields, and you guessed it, in the hedges. The hedge witch of old usual practice alone and lived magically day to day. Simple acts like brewing a pot of tea or sweeping the floor were infused with magic ideas and intentions. Perhaps most importantly, the hedge witch learned her practices from old family members or mentors and honoured her skill through years of practice, trial, and error. These practices are sometimes referred to as green craft and are highly influenced by folk custom. So, a head witch's magical practices and beliefs. Similar to the practices of which the kitchen witch, hedge witchery often focuses on the hearth and the home as its centre of magical activity. The home is the place of stability and grounding, and the kitchen itself is a magical place and is defined by the energies of the people who live in the house. For the hedge witch, the home is typically seen as a secret space. If the home is the core of the practice, the natural world forms the roof of it. A hedge witch typically spends lots of time working on herbal magic and often learns associated skills like herbal medicine or aromatherapy. This practice is deeply personal and spiritual to the hedge witch. Doesn't just have jars or plants. Chances are good that she grew or gathered them herself, harvested them, dried them, and had experiments with them to see what they can and cannot do. All the while, she has been writing down her notes for the future reference. They very much like to write down a lot of their remedies being the sort of witch that they are, a lot of their knowledge is handed down through family. So anything they come across and redo, maybe enhance that spell by doing other things into it. They do write this sort of stuff down to be able to continue to carry that and give that through the family line. Like I said, they are very, very interesting practitioners, and most definitely do believe that a lot of us have some form of hedge witch, green witch, kitchen witch in us, definitely. I've got a bit of a cold. Keep sniffing, guys. Do excuse me. Head witchery for modern practitioners. So more for the up-to-date people that are coming into it. There are modern aspects to the hedge witch. The hedge witch practice and ceremonies itself are very ancient and very old, and very much are still used and formed in the old way. But things have had to be enlightened and changed slightly as our world and our people change. So things have had to come to be a bit more modern. But a lot of witches that are known as hedge witches will still follow the old ways in many ways, even down to the way that they decorate their home, the things that they have in there to symbolize who they are. So it is very interesting. It's very much a very interesting practitioner to me, just like the hearth witch and the kitchen witch. I find all of them very interesting. So, the hedge witchery for modern practitioners. There are plenty of ways to incorporate hedge witchery into your daily life, and most of them involve simple actions of living mindfully and magically. Look at small domestic tasks from a spiritual perspective. Whether you're cooking dinner or cleaning the bathroom, focus on the sacredness of the action. Baking bread for your family, fill that bread with love. Also speak to your house. Yes, that's right, talk to it. Your home is a place of magical energy. So when you walk in after a day at work, greet the house. When you leave for the day, tell it goodbye and promise to return soon. Get to know the spirits of the land and the place around you. Work with them and invite them into your life with song, poems, or offerings. The more you open yourself to them, the more likely they will offer you your gifts and protection when you need it. In addition, study the plants that grow around you and look around in your immediate areas for those plants. If you don't have a garden or a yard, that's okay. Plants grow everywhere. What is native to your planting zone? Are there public woods or gardens? You can explore, study, and wildcraft in. The practice of head witchcraft might be something for you to explore. If you're drawn to certain aspects of the natural world, are you someone who feels more at home in the outdoors and in drawn to nature with a strong connection to herbs and trees and plants? Do you prefer to work your magic alone rather than in a group setting? Do you have an interest in folklore and on expanding your own knowledge through research and experimentation? If so, the path of head witchery might be right up your alley. Here are a few of the sources that you can find on the hedge witch as well. So some of the books and things that might be really good for you to look in is Beth Rowe, Hedge Witch, A Guide to Solitary Witchcraft. And that was also by Robert Hale, 2018. Then you've got Mitchell Mandy, Hedge Witch Book of Days, Spells, Rituals and Recipes for the Magical Year. Wisier Books, 2014. Moria Ann, Green Witchcraft, Folk Magic, Fairy Lore and Herbcraft. Lowlin Publications, 2004. Murphy Hiscock, Erin, The Way of the Hedge Witch, Ritual and Spell for Hearth and Home. Provence Press, 2009. So these are some of the books. You can also obviously go and research and study online. You can find free courses, or if you want to pay for courses, you can do that as well. But I do say to people to be careful with some of the courses that you pay for, because I don't think they're completely the way that they should be. But there are a lot of really good places you can go to and get free courses, and you learn a lot of really interesting stuff. So you've got the course side. Like I said, you can do your own studying and research by going online, looking on the sites, following other spiritual practitioners or witches and wizards and so on. You can go to libraries. There are so many forms and ways that you can look into the practice, what the hedge witch represents, how she does her practices. You'll find that with the hedge witch, a lot of her work and her magical work is formed within the home or in the garden. It's always involving those two very aspects because they are things she's very connected to. The garden because it brings her peace and harmony, but also because her garden's normally something she's planted and got many beautiful herbs and other things growing to put into her spell work. So these are her secret spaces and the places of her worship. So you will find that most hedge witches will use just the home and the outside, meaning their gardens. Hedge witches have been known to be a long-term spiritual practitioner. They have been around for a very long time. In the olden days, they would have been known, as it said, to be on the outskirts of villages and cities and things, and they would be in the wildness and with nature, and they would have learned their aspects from the energies of nature and nature itself, from the seasons, from all of the magical energy that this world holds. They would have learned with that. They would have gained that knowledge. That's why we have books and we have things today, because of knowledge that has been passed down through these magical practitioners like ourselves. I stand very proud and I'm very happy about the fact that I am a witch and that I follow my ancestors and everybody that's into this craft's beliefs and ways. I very much feel that when I do this type of work, I'm not only doing it for myself and for this world, but I do feel that I'm doing it for those that in the past were wrongfully mistreated and lives ended for what they believed in and who they were. And I very much stand up for my ancestors and those that believed in this magical realm and practice. It's like nothing else you could ever imagine or see, and we're all capable of being able to communicate and connect to our world, to our universe, to our nature, to all things. It's just a lot of us have become very close minded due to the effects of things around us in the natural world. We have become studied in a way that we've shut down from what we truly are and what we're truly connected to. But luckily for some of us, like myself, I've always been open and I've always seen this world in a different way. I've always been around magic and I've always seen this world in a way that others do not. So I've always had that belief here, which is why I do what I do. I educate, I learn people about things. That's why I do the paranormal, because I experience this every day, being who I am and being as open as I am. And I want to be able to show that to others so that maybe they would become more open to it and more like, okay, maybe this stuff does exist, because it does. And I think that the Hedge Witch is one of those characters that are very intriguing and very interesting, because she is very old school and old way. She's very connected to land and to everything being natural. And I think that her type of witch, along with like the kitchen witch and the hearth witch, these forms of witches are most definitely, I think, the most closest that represent what our ancestors would have been. And a lot of these witches you will find will be your elders as well. They'll be a lot older. There are younger ones, obviously, but you will find that a lot of the older practitioners are in this form of work. It's just what they do, and it's their family line and that connection. And I'm sure that they have handed their knowledge and ways down to their family, and probably had it around their family when they were young as well. So I hope that you found this video interesting on the Hedge Witch. I hope it's helped you to understand and to gain a bit more information on what a Hedge Witch is. Remember, if you're not sure about things, you can come and ask us questions. You can come and ask us for help. Or, as I said, do your research and study. And just enjoy finding out about the practice and learning the correct way. Because once you do become open to that, you'll see a completely different world. And you'll be doing amazing things. So just keep at it, guys. And just remember to be real and be true and be who you are. And be proud of that. And don't go diving into trying to start things when you don't understand it. Please just make sure that you do research, study, gain knowledge, and just do little practices on things that are not hard. Maybe just doing practices on things like your self-love and self-healing and things like, just do it gradually and build it up. And obviously take the advice that you're getting from our shows as well, because I do think that it's really important for you guys to know that witchcraft isn't something you just come into unknowledged. You can not know everything and you can learn as you go along, but don't come in thinking that you're going to gain more from what you do. Being in this form of practice, in my opinion, is not about, well, if I give out, then I get back. It's not about getting back. It's about just being natural, true, and caring to yourself and to your world. I don't do it because I expect anything back. I do it because it's my love, my passion, and my way. And I believe in making the world better, and I believe in bringing love and light into the world and doing the work for my deities and energies I work with. So come into this craft because you want to, and seriously sit and think about it first, because like I said in a previous video, coming into being a witch, a wizard, coming into the craft of like magical workings, it's not something you can just come into and then just leave. There's going to be effects from that. You really do need to know that this is going to be your path, which is why it's good to listen, to be educated, and to learn first. And if it's not for you, then it's fine. There are certain things that you would have to give yourself over to, dedicating yourself to the craft anyway. So when you're just simply practicing and haven't done that, you're okay. But really think about in that time that you're doing it, if it is something really for you, because it's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle. It's part of you and it is you. So just be sure in what you're doing. So I again hope that you have enjoyed the video. I hope you've got a lot of information from this and it's helped you to understand a little bit more about the Hedge Witch. There are going to be a few more following, so keep your eyes out for them as well, guys. But until then, I send you lots of love, light, and blessings. I thank you for watching. And for now, myself, Willow, I bid you a farewell and a merry parting. And I will see you all very, very soon. And don't forget to like and share and support me and my sisters. That's Drew's Paranormal Vlog. You've got Mystical Love and Light, which is Rochelle. You have Christina, which is Christina and Son Ghost Squad. You've got my sister Luna, which is Mary. She is Luna Eclipse Paranormal. You have my pups, which is Danny, and he is from Chasing Bones and the Spectres. And he's also got a platform known as Danny Wolf as well. So please, there are many others in my chat as well that are absolutely amazing and people that you should follow and represent. Come into our chats, check us out, and you'll be able to meet all these amazing people. But check those channels that I've shouted out, and thank you again for watching. A merry parting, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Merry parting, blessed be.